All right, let's do it. Hi, Miss Holliday. Thank you so much for deciding to join us, Mrs. Mama United, in our Teacher Week, our Educator Week, because we're launching My Child is a Genius, and I truly believe that everyone is a genius, even though they don't act like it. But honestly, I just believe that all children are fearfully and wonderfully made, and it's our job as educators and our jobs as parents to just activate their genius and point them in the right direction so they're always positioned for success, right?
Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
I got my imaginary audience. So, can you just give us, tell us a little bit about yourself, your educational background? Because I know now you're a principal, but where did your journey start?
Okay, so my journey started right here in Philly, where I'm from. I was fortunate enough to, like you, be raised by an educator. So I was fortunate enough to go to a great school, K-8. Education was always something that was, important in our household. So it was something that I always valued, and I knew that was, important, to. So I then went to Girls High. So I had a wonderful high school experience. So I enjoy every single day at Girls High, Royal Island, Philly. Then I entered Temple University. And one thing that I will say, I'll throw in something in there that's important, about our conversation that we're having tonight is, while I was at Girls High, something that all of my friends and family know about me is that I did have a child when I was there. My junior year in high school, I did, get pregnant with my son, Nasir, who is now 23.
Wow.
Recent graduate from Temple University, bioengineer. So again, it's all about education and success and parenting, and those are the same things that I instilled in my son. Nice. Even though I was a parent who had him young, I knew that education was the only way that I could be the mother that he needed. And I had to instill those same values in him in order for him to be the success story that he is today.
Right.
But let's rewind a little bit. So I went to Temple University and I obtained my Bachelor's of Science in Elementary Education. I graduated in 2002. At the time, the School District of Philadelphia was not hiring for elementary education teachers. They were, however, in need of special educators. If you were going to be hired by the school district at that time, you had to immediately pursue a master's degree or a certification in special education while teaching as an apprentice teacher. So that's what I did immediately. As soon as I graduated from Temple University in May 2002, I started teaching at Tilden Middle School, proudly, in Southwest Philly. That September, and I began Arcadia University, where I've obtained my master's in special ed 2 years later, in 2004. And while in middle school, I was a special ed teacher for a number of years, and then I earned a wonderful opportunity to become the special education liaison in the high school. And I take my hat off to your mother. She is the person who gave me my first leadership opportunity, my first opportunity ever. She had come to Tilden Middle School. It was my second year teaching, and it was her first year there as an assistant principal.
Yeah.
Who is a special educator. So he was my supervisor and the supervisor of my department. So just, in conversation with my assistant principal, we talked about, just ways to improve what was happening at Tilden in the special education department there. And because she has seen, my drive and my passion for education and my love for kids, which was so similar to her, she knew that I would be a great person in that position. So I had to throw that in there. Thank the lovely Mrs. Nancy Golden for giving me my very first leadership opportunity ever as a school administrator. We rise by lifting others, right? So that's what we did. So I worked as a special education liaison at Tilden Middle School for 6 years. While there, a group of us, a lovely group of educators that I still communicate with to this day, we earned our certification together at Cheney University. So in 2008, I did obtain my principal certification for the state of PA. Nice. So that's kind of where it all began.
Man, that's a lot of school in a little bit of time. So clearly, just listen to your story with that, just in that couple of years, you're very driven, right? And you're very motivated and focused. And to have a child while in high school and fast forward to be a principal, right? And still complete all of those different levels of education, you really have to be committed. So tip my hat off to you, because nobody okay? People be struggling just getting through 4 years of college with nothing, right?
Yes, and I have to add, in case they see that when I did graduate from Temple University, I was a mother of 3. Don't keep that in mind. My daughters, don't forget, Chanel and Shayna, they are 16 years old. So when I graduated from Temple, they were a couple months old.
Yeah, that's the twins, right?
Yes, that's the twins, yes. So I had 3 children when I graduated from Temple.
Oh my God.
Started teaching full-time, going to school 2 nights a week to obtain my master's degree until 2004. I taught full-time and continued, but I knew I wanted to achieve more. I knew I wanted to make more money in education.
Yeah.
3 children. I said I need to go back to school, and I wanted to be a leader. I knew I wanted to, impact a larger group. You know what I mean? So I went back and earned my principal certification. And again, back at school again, 3 children, working full-time, 2 nights a week to knock it out and get it done.
Yes, knock it out and get it done. First of all, it's twins.
Yes, yes. You know.
Okay, because
you know.
These people, you have people. It's not even just a baby. These are people that you have, and you're going to school, and you're working full time. I would have passed out. Like I just would have passed out. But that goes to show you when you're graced to do something, it makes it smooth to accomplish. Not saying that every step was easy, granted, but it's like a certain, I don't know, Black girl magic that you have.
Absolutely. Melanin popping. Okay.
Melanin is all the way popping.
Yes.
So I wanna know, within special ed, right?
Yes.
What's something that parents should pay attention to or be informed about if their child is receiving support, or if they have like an inkling that their child may need support? What's something that you could tell other parents, or just some information that you can share about that?
I say any parent of a child with a disability or not, I think that you should study child development so you can understand the milestones that your child should be making. I don't think that you should necessarily rely on doctor's visits and things like that, to understand the milestones that your child should be making. I think that child development is something that every parent should study and should learn. Mm-hmm. So just their interactions with your children on a daily basis, if and don't get me wrong, every child develops at different stages, but I mean, there are some children who do have deficits that are, clear and, diagnosed. So, I would say that every parent should just educate themselves on child development milestones, and also, pay attention to other kids, too. Right. So pay attention to kids around them, pay attention to kids who are their age. How do they interact? Mm-hmm. Do they, pronounce words the same way? Are they able to, think through things, all of those type of things that parents should pay attention to. Okay.
So I know you hear that, right? Do you hear a baby crying? Can you hear?
Oh, I do. Oh, it sounds.
Let me get a child. I mean, y'all, I just don't want me to be great. That's all I want to do is be great. That's it.
Oh, adorable.
Say hello.
Now, who's that? Who's that?
This is Rico.
Okay, that's Rico. Hey, Rico.
Say hi.
Oh, they're adorable. Oh.
Disrespecting me. Oh, here go the other one. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
This is real life. This is real. Okay. This is real. And real life. I mean, we just got to get things done. Sometimes we have company when it's time to get things done. Bless the Lord. So, y'all had to burp. Oh, so being a mother, young, right? I think a lot of people, period, can make excuses for whatever they want, and especially having kids young. As I had y'all young, and that's why I couldn't do X, Y, and Z. What's your take on that when you hear young ladies say things like that? Just pushing their dreams off because they had kids young, or feeling like they can't achieve just because life happened. What would be like your message to those young mothers?
My message is clear, and it's always been, if I'm not a great or the best woman that I can be, I can't be a great mother.
Right.
So I knew that I I knew that my children deserved a certain life. And when I say a certain life, I don't mean just materialistic things or a certain place to live or anything like that. I knew that they needed someone who was driven as a role model, you know, someone who was independent and worked hard. You know, I needed to have a certain example, you know, in life. So education and becoming an educator was the route that I chose. It doesn't matter what field you choose to go. As a parent, I think that you just need to lead by example, and you need to show your children that, you know, hard work, dedication, commitment, you know, and ultimately, if you can do what you love, like I do what I love too, that makes it even greater. But nevertheless, I knew that I had to be great. I had to be a great example for them, because, you know, just looking at them and holding them in my arms, it was like, how could I fail? How could I not be who they need me to be? You know what I mean? Their mother, you know what I mean? Like, her mom, you know, so I have to be their superstar.
Yeah, and you definitely, and of course, everybody knows twin moms are like extra rock stars.
Yes.
And then you have triplets and all them quintuplets. I'll be like, y'all win. Like,
yes, I don't know how they do it.
I don't know how they do it either, because I would have left a child somewhere. Like, but yeah, like that's really major. It's like, you're a mother now, and it's just something when you look in their eyes and you're like, yo, really have to give you the best that I have. And if I'm not at my best, if I'm not 100%, what else am I going to give you? You know what I'm saying? That is absolutely, that is so remarkable. I should make that.
They didn't ask to come. They didn't ask to be here. You know, and they shouldn't have to, you know, fall victim of my circumstances.
Right.
You know what I mean? I have to create greater and better circumstances, you know, for them.
Right.
You know, I just can't sit back and settle and say, oh, woe was me, you know. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. They were my motivation. They drive me every single day, even today.
That is so awesome.
Every single day they drive me. Every day.
You got great kids too.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're so cute. They're so cute. So here's the thing, because you're a parent, you still have school-age children.
Yes.
How does your parent-teacher relationship look? Like, are you? Tell me, how is that? What does that look like?
It's I respect teachers 100%. Absolutely. I respect their profession. And because I respect and love the profession so much, it's really difficult for me to accept mediocrity in education, because, you know, we're not dealing with drywall and
hammering.
We're talking about human being lives, young men and women, boys and girls. You know what I mean? So as far as I'm concerned, I really do kind of have zero tolerance for mediocrity when it comes to teachers and educators in the classroom. I do. And not just teachers and educators, from every single person who chooses to step foot in a school setting, work with children. That's just the way that I feel. So, I mean, obviously there's been times when, you know, I have had to have tough conversations with teachers, 100%. There's also been times when my educator had came completely off. And I may have even been one of those parents at times that I didn't want to see coming. Just wrong. I've never exploded in the school, nevertheless, but I'm always going to advocate for my children. I have to support them. They have to understand that, and they have to know that I support them. But what's also important when you talk about the parent-teacher relationship is my children know that when they go to school, that they must follow the rules, that their teachers are, you know, their parent away from me. So if my child comes home, and they've always known that, so if my child comes home with a concern, I believe it. You understand what I'm saying? Because they know how they're supposed to be treated. They know, you know, right from wrong, you know, and I know that they're not in the classroom being disrespectful. I know that they're not being disturbed in the classroom. So if you're being mistreated, I'm definitely going to feel some type of way about it. So there's been instances like that, but I'm always supportive of teachers. I love to send gifts to the teachers. I send emails. I do all of those things to remind them that, you know, that I'm thinking of them. As my kids got older, of course, they never wanted to do it because it's just embarrassing for, you know, a middle schooler, you know, to take something like that. But those are the things I used to do when they were small, because I know I appreciated it when I was a teacher.
I mean, clearly I do too, because teachers are great. great teachers are great to have.
Yeah.
Some teachers are different, but you know, that can be handled. But majority, I've always had a great experience with.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah. I mean, they do their jobs well.
Absolutely.
And I'm that mom who gives gifts, writes cards, like these super hype messages.
Yes, because they're caring for your children all day long. They deserve it.
They really do deserve it, and I feel like they're a lot of times very undervalued.
Yes.
Because people are quick to run up to the teacher when something non-academic happens. You know what I'm saying? When it's not pertaining to the success of your child and something maybe recreational. I feel like that gets a lot more attention than you texting me about missing homework or something that really matters. You know what I'm saying? So I'm totally an advocate for good teachers. Now, hold on. They're about to kick each other. Okay. So as an educator, if they're okay, like you said, when your kids come home with a concern, you know that it's a true thing. So what about other kids what would you say for other kids who are in class and they may not be feeling it because their teacher only teaches one way and their learning style could be completely different, or their teacher is not, I don't know, making their lessons attractive, and I'm getting in trouble because I'm bored to death. This is nothing. I'm not having fun in your class. Like, as a parent, what would you tell me? Like, what should I do in those situations? I can't just keep telling my child to go ahead and sit down because he's there for 8 hours. So what would you tell a teacher? I mean,
I really think it depends on like what the situation is and why the child isn't engaged in the classroom. It could be many, for it. So we could go back to, and I know this is an extreme reason, but it could go back to the child may have a disability, right?
Okay.
Maybe with the curriculum, right? It may be a situation where the teacher lacks classroom management. So kids are just, so the teacher can't get through lessons. I mean, so it could be a variety of different reasons why, the child is like unengaged. What I would do as a parent is I would just schedule a conference, with the teacher, with my child present, so your child can, have an opportunity to talk to the teacher. See, one of the things that we do at Tacony Academy is we have a caring school community, so we have class meetings. So as a building principal, I've had students come to me and complain about teachers, honestly.
Yeah.
They don't plan lessons. It's boring. They take too long to grade our papers. And students know when teachers don't care. They do. It's clear to them. I mean, they know it. And I'm proud to say that my students know that I'm just, again, back to what I said in the beginning, mediocrity is unacceptable.
Yeah.
So they can knock on my office door and tell me that they don't feel like they're getting what they deserve, and I'm going to address it. Because we're a caring school community, I told the group of students to have a class meeting, because that is something that we do. Anytime there's a problem to address or just to introduce something new or anything to talk about in the building, we have a meeting. So I had the assistant principal join this particular teacher class meeting, and the students were very honest, with the teacher, and, shared that, they felt that she did not work hard for them, point blank period. So if you take that back to a parent, I would say, schedule a conference, have a sit down with the teacher. So, sometimes, it's tough to hear from the student. You know what I mean? Like your administrator walking by all the time, you're hearing it from adults. If you have an 8-year-old child look you in the face and say, I don't think you care about me because you're not working hard. Wow. Can you imagine the impact? You know what I mean? But that's what I would say. Just start with a conference and start communicating and start dialoguing, so you can really have a true understanding of what's happening in the classroom. Because, again, the kid's perspective may not really be what's happening in the classroom too. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think everybody just needs to talk about it so everybody's clear. Okay.
That's awesome. Like, so ideally, a great parent-teacher relationship is one that's open for dialogue, right?
Yes, for sure.
I mean, it's 2018. We have so many different ways to connect. You know what I'm saying? So I really, in this day and age, it's really no excuse for I didn't know, or I didn't have time, or that kind of thing. So I really, that's something I really like to tell my friends and other parents too, like Skype, Facebook, text messages. Like, you can get in touch with these teachers, not all the way off hours, because they don't, Don't nobody I'm not talking to you when I'm home with my kids.
Yes, right.
Yeah, stuff like that. So for this upcoming school year, what would you say is your theme? Have you thought about a theme, or what you want to tell kids, or what are you going to tell them? Something encouraging. What would be your theme for this year?
All right, so our theme for this year is don't be basic. So it is tied into standardized testing, you know, what we're measured on, of course, but also we're tying it into character development, into the whole student. Don't be basic. Right. I mean, it's there, and it's just that simple. Basics okay, you know, and there's no measure either. So we want to make that very clear. There's no measure. You know what I mean? The bottom line is just always work hard to be greater than who you are. You know what I mean? Just always work hard to help somebody else be greater than who they are. You know what I mean? So that's our mantra for this year. Just don't be basic. Nothing that you do, just don't settle. Don't be basic. You know, give your all in everything that you set out to do.
I love that. Okay. Don't be basic. I'm going to start telling that to everybody. Like, don't be basic. That's like, and I think, like you said, that's cool because it's no measurement. Like, it's all according to you. And just like, I feel the same way about success, because like, your measurement of success is much different from mine. You know, I may say, hey, I have 5 kids and they're all alive. Like, that's successful. You're successful. I just paid off my last student loan and I'm that's successful. Like, that's successful. Boom.org. But I love that. Don't be basic. I'm not going to take it or nothing.
You can take it, girl. You can take it. You can take it. We can share it.
I'm definitely going to make a shirt tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much, Miss Holliday.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
You're like the star principal. Like, you're decent. Do people?
There are many greater, and many for me to learn from, and so much more for me to learn.
Oh, that was so beautiful.
There it is. I can't with you, Aquisha. I am getting ready to end this call.
People see you. Like, you ever get any like shade or anybody looking at you like, for real, she the principal? Like, taking it back? Do people look at you like that? Because you look.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I mean, I think as I'm getting a little older, it's not as surprising. But, you know, I became an administrator when I was 31 as an assistant principal. So I was young, you know, so I looked fairly young. You know, we can take it back to that black girl magic. You know,
definitely look like
so I looked a little younger, in my opinion, and a lot of people always told me that I look younger. So especially when I was younger, as an assistant principal, 31, 32, and I became a principal when I think I was 33. So yes, absolutely, people were shocked, they were surprised, you know, they were, but I know that it's a blessing. I know for sure that the position that I am in right now is a blessing. I also know that, like I said, it's about building, you know, relationships with the people you work with, relationships with, you know, your parents and your teachers. Like I said, the mother offered me my first leadership opportunity, and I thank her for, you know, all the time. So, and the funny part about it too, I'll tell you a little story. You know how many times, it's funny, sometimes I don't even tell people I'm an administrator. You know, if I'm just out and I'm just around, and I'll say, well, what do you do? And I just say, oh, I work at a charter school.
Right.
Just like, you're not going to believe how many people responded and said to me, and by no means am I knocking this profession, because like I told you, I respect every single person. How many people said to me, oh, are you an MTA?
Right. That's the first thing that came to mind.
That's the first thing they think. They don't even necessarily assume that I am even a classroom teacher, let alone.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, Aquisha too. Let's take it back to, remember, 33 with 4 kids then.
Right.
Imagine me with my braids, walking through Philly with my 4 little babies behind me, you know, Saturday afternoon, and my Nike flip-flops and my t-shirt.
Yes.
Principal who, where, how? Not her. Absolutely not her. Yeah, no way. But, you know, it is what it is.
Exactly.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But I'll tell you what, I can lead this school to greatness.
Right. Check me on Monday morning at 8.
Right.
Yes.
But hats off to you, because
hats off to you. So proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, darling.
Yes, I am. And I can't wait to read the book. I'm excited.
I am excited too, because You're an educator, so it means a lot to me. Okay. Remember, I'm writing this as a parent.
I got you.
With my mother's help.
I'm sure it's gonna be great.
Thank you so much. So I'm not going to keep you any longer. I need to like put these people back to sleep or something. Yes.
Okay. Good night, boys.
Say good night. Maybe I'll give them like some cherry juice.
Good night.
I don't know. But
all right. Have fun, guys.
Bye bye.
Say bye.